Maybe she's ended things. Maybe she's pulling away and you can feel her just slipping through your fingers right now. Maybe you're doing no contact and you're trying to give her space, trying to be strategic, but inside you're completely falling apart. You're checking your phone every 5 minutes, hoping she's finally texted. You're replaying every conversation you've ever had with her in your head, wondering what you could have said differently. You're lying awake at 2 a.m. asking yourself questions that you can't answer, and you're stuck in this impossible place where part of you wants to fight for her, and part of you knows you need to let go, and you don't know which voice to listen to. I've been there. And in this video, I'm not gonna give you some tactical trick to get her back. I'm gonna give you something much more important. I'm gonna show you how to survive this, how to stay sane when everything in you wants to start spiraling, and how to use this moment, this painful, confusing moment, to become the kind of man who never has to feel this powerless ever again. Hi, I'm Bobby Rio, and I wanna tell you about the worst 3 months of my entire life. Years ago, there was this girl I worked with, Robin, and we were friends for a while, and then one night we finally kiss, and I fall for her hard. So when she starts pulling away a couple weeks later, I lose my mind. And I'm not using that as an expression. I literally lost my mind. Back then, I was painting houses with my brother, and literally every day we'd be driving in our van and I'd be playing detective with him, like looking for any little clue, giving him new evidence I uncovered since yesterday, replaying conversations, analyzing every text from her, wondering if that, thing I said weeks ago was what ruined everything. During lunch breaks, I'd start typing these long messages to her, paragraphs, right, explaining how I felt, trying to find the perfect words to make her understand. Then I'd read it back, cringe, and delete the whole thing. An hour later, I'm doing the same thing, right? Type, delete. Finally, I'd send something, usually something weak, just to check in and remind her I'm alive. And the moment I hit send, the entire rest of my day was spent staring at my phone, waiting for that notification from her. I'd be up on a 40-foot ladder, pulling out my phone, making sure I didn't miss her text. And when it wasn't her, I'd sink a little deeper. This is what I call emotional quicksand. And the worst part, I knew I was sinking. I could feel it happening, but I didn't know how to stop it. And I tell you this story because I want you to know something. I'm not like standing here as some guy who's never been where you might be right now. I've been even lower. I've made worse mistakes. I've felt that same helplessness that you might be feeling right now, and I got out. Not just got out, I transformed. And that's what I want for you. So let's start with a really important point, and it's what I call the paradox. So this is the paradox that you're living in. So this is the thing that's driving you crazy right now. You're living in a paradox. Part of you is thinking, I need to fight for her, I can't just give up. And part of you is thinking, I need to move on already, I need to let go. I'm standing still, I'm chasing a woman that may never come back, and I can't live like this anymore. And these two voices inside your own head are constantly at war, and you don't know which one to listen to. Here's what I want you to understand. Both voices are right, and both voices are wrong. The voice that says fight for her, it's right that you shouldn't just roll over and give up the moment things get hard. But it's wrong when it tells you to chase, to beg, to send the long emotional text at 2 a.m. The voice that says move on, it's right that clinging to someone who doesn't want you is a path to destruction, but it's wrong if it's just trying to protect you from the pain of giving it a shot. Here's something a lot of guys never realize. The path to getting her back and the path to moving on are the same exact path. So I'm gonna write this down. Two paths are the same. So what do I mean by the two paths are the same? So I'm gonna say it again, right? Because it is important. The path to getting her back and the path to moving on, they're the same path. Because both paths require the same thing. You becoming a better, stronger, more emotionally autonomous, masculine version of yourself. If you do that and she comes back, great. You'll probably keep her this time. If you do that and she doesn't, you'll be okay because you'll have become a man with options, a man way more attractive to the next woman you meet. The only path that leads nowhere is the one where you stay stuck, where you don't move forward, where you just spend the next 3 months refreshing your phone, hoping she changes her mind, playing mental detective, wondering like what you could do and just driving yourself crazy while everything else in your life is falling apart around you. I see it happening with guys in the untamed man community where it's like they're spiraling so much that their career takes a hit, their friendships take a hit. All these areas of their life, they stop going to the gym because they can't concentrate because they're so obsessed with a woman. And that path does not come ever her coming back. When you turn into that guy spiraling, like what does she have to come back to, right? What is the good in that? Does she really want to come back to a guy who's like laying in a corner in his room, refreshing and just a complete emotional mess? Listen, I've been that guy. I'm not judging you, but I'm being honest with you. You're not gonna get her back being that guy, and you're not gonna bring another woman into your life being that guy. It just leads to more pain. So I wanna share a mindset shift. And this might be the biggest mindset shift that you can make. So this is gonna be the mindset shift that really changes things. And this is what it is. This is the mindset shift that literally saved me. When I was at my lowest point with Robin, I had a choice to make. I could let this destroy me, or I could let this build me. And I want you to hear this. This moment that you're in right now, this painful, confusing, gut-wrenching moment, this is the most important moment of your entire life. And I'm not being dramatic, because what you do right now, how you respond to this pain you're feeling right now is gonna shape who you become for the next decade of your life. You can let this turn you bitter. You can let this make you afraid to open up to a woman again. You can let this convince you that you're not good enough for the girls you like, or you can let this be the moment that you finally decide, I'm never gonna feel this powerless again. So I call this becoming anti-fragile, okay? I wanna write this down, and this is really important. See, most guys are fragile. She pulls away and they break. She goes cold, they shatter. She ends things and they fall apart, and they stay apart for months. But anti-fragile means that you don't just survive the pressure, you actually get stronger from it. Like a bone that breaks and heals back thicker, like a muscle that tears and grows back stronger. The pain that you're feeling right now, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. It's resistance training for your masculinity. And the question isn't, how do I make this pain stop? The question is, how do I use this pain to become unbreakable? So here's the challenge, and it is a challenge. So I want to give you something practical, because I know when you're in this state, this confusing state, like when somebody starts talking about mindset, it can feel like empty words. You need something to actually do to get your mind stopping doing what you're currently doing. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to treat this like a challenge. I want you to turn this whole thing into a challenge, not a tragedy, a challenge, a test, a crucible that's gonna forge you into someone new. And here's the challenge. For the next 30 days, you're gonna prove to yourself that your happiness doesn't depend on her, not to prove it to her, okay? This is different. You're not doing this to prove to her that you can walk away. You're not doing this to, show her how, better you've become. You're doing it to prove to yourself, because right now, you probably don't believe that's true. Right now, it feels like she's your only shot at happiness. Like without her, there's just emptiness. And that's a lie that your brain is telling you. And the only way to expose the lie is to prove it wrong through action. So here's how. Rule number 1, every day you do one thing just for you. Every day you're gonna do one thing just for you. Not to make her jealous, not to post it on social media so that she sees how great your life is now. Something that's genuinely for you. Got it? Maybe that's going to the gym. Maybe it's working on a project that you've been putting off. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe it's reconnecting with an old friend. One thing every day that has nothing to do with her. Rule two is every time you catch yourself maybe checking her socials or going to your phone to text her or to reread her last text, you do 20 push-ups instead. And I'm serious. You're gonna transmute that anxious, needy, freaking horrible energy into something physical. Every urge to check now becomes fuel for building your body. You'll be doing a lot of push-ups at first, trust me, and that's fine. By week 2, you're gonna notice the urges getting weaker and your arms and your chest getting stronger. I wanna give you another thing that's helped me out in my life. It's called the Sedona method. There's a book on it, there's courses on it, but you don't need any of that. It's actually drop dead simple. And it's something you can use when you just feel that spiral coming on, whether you're laying in bed and all of a sudden that loop starts playing of her and you keep thinking about her and you feel the anxiety, the uncertainty, all these emotions just bottling up. Maybe you're at work and you can't concentrate on work because of it. This is something very, very simple that you can do. And the whole point is to release the emotions, because when you hold on to them, you get stuck. So this is how it works. Again, it's very, very simple. The first thing you want to do, and I always do it, everybody has their own way of doing it. I do it this way. I clench my fists tight and I close my eyes. And the first thing I do is I say, can I let myself feel the emotion? And you really let yourself feel it. You actually amplify it, right? You consciously think of the disappointment or the fear of losing her for good, or you think of how much you want her, how much you desire her, and you just let it almost consume you, and you'll feel it. I literally can feel it building up, and you have your hands like this, you feel it building up, and just when it's hitting the breaking point, you ask yourself, could I let this go? And you say yes, and then you say, would I let this go? And you say yes, and then you say, when? And you go, now. And then just release it. And you'll feel, now I've used this with women, I've used this in other areas of my life where I was experiencing some anxiety. And when you do it, when you let go, you actually feel it rush out of you. Now, sometimes it feels good for a minute or two and you feel it coming back. And in those cases, you just go through it again. Again, it's a very simple process. You bring it to the surface. You let yourself feel it. And you even say, can I feel it? And whatever you have to do to get it more and more intense, you do. And then you ask yourself a question, very simple. Could I let it go? You don't even have to believe that you could. You just say, could I let it go? And then you say, yeah. Would I let it go? Yeah. When? And then as soon as you're ready, you say, now. Unclench your tight fist and feel it rush out of you. Do it as many times as you need to get your head right. And more importantly, to get that bottled up anxiety, that bottled up uncertainty and frustration and longing and all those emotions, just release them so you can go on with your day. So rule 3 is every day, you're gonna write down 3 things that you're grateful for every morning. Not cheesy affirmations, like this isn't some woo-woo spiritual stuff. I'm talking about real things, your health, your job, a friend who checked in on you. And here's one that will surprise you. You can write down her. Why? Because the fact that you met her, the fact that she exists and you spent time with her, she gave you a chance, you had a connection, what does it prove? It proves that women are out there like her and that they have interest in you. You were able to get this woman's interest. You were able to have a connection with her. Well, you know what? She's not the only one. She's proof that these type of women exist. So write her name down. I'm still grateful for Robin. That entire situation changed my life. Not only did it show me that there are women out there that I connected with like I connected with her, but if I had never experienced that pain, I would not be the guy that I am today. So write her down. But what I really want you to do is I want you to focus on things outside of her, right? Because this rewires your brain to look for all the things that are going on in your life right now that are positive, that are good, instead of just obsessing over what's wrong. Rule number 4, and this one I really want you to do, even if everything in your gut tells you not to, is talk to one new woman every day. So every day I want you to talk to one new woman. And I know this feels wrong, but Bobby, I still want her. I know you do. But here's the thing. You don't have to want anyone else right now. You just need to remind yourself that other women exist, that you're capable of talking to them, that your world didn't shrink down to one person. And also, to keep your sword sharp, so to speak. I've seen so many guys. I've been coaching now for 18 years, and I've seen guys, and they come to me, and a woman left them a year and a half ago, and they've sat around in their room watching Netflix for a year and a half, avoiding any sort of social situation. Well, what does that do? It prevents you from knowing how to talk to women anymore. It kills your confidence. You get super rusty at things like flirting or going for the kiss. You don't know what to text a woman anymore because you haven't texted somebody besides her in a super long time. It's really important, not only for the skills, but also for the abundance mindset that you have to cultivate. The worst thing you can do is get sucked into a scarcity mindset where she becomes your, I call it a mirage girl, where you sit around and she's like a mirage, and you hold on to this hope and you let the rest of your life go to shit while you chase a mirage. Now, when you talk to these women on a daily basis, it doesn't have to go anywhere. Just talk, right? It breaks the spell of scarcity. It could be you messaging women on dating apps. It could be you going to a local coffee shop and just starting a conversation with a woman standing next to you. It could be you going out to happy hour after work and starting some conversations. It could be joining a local hiking group or a local salsa class or a local co-ed sports league where there's women, and just getting social, talking to them. And at first, I know all these women are not going to compare to her, but that's not the point. The point is to keep yourself in the mindset of this abundance mindset. So what do you do in the dark moments? Let's talk about that, because there's going to be dark moments. So what to do in the dark moments. Now, I want to talk about something important, because I can give you all this mindset stuff, but there's going to be moments when none of it feels real. There's going to be a Tuesday night where you're lying in bed and a memory just fucking hits you, right? Something she said, the way she laughed, that inside joke you had. Maybe it's the first kiss you had. Maybe it's just how she looked at you with interest and desire, and now that's not there anymore, and it hurts your ego. Whatever it is, right? It's gonna hit you. It's gonna happen, and it's gonna hit you like a wave. And you're gonna wanna text her in that moment. Every cell in your body is gonna be screaming at you. Just reach out, see if what there's to do, see if I can say something, anything to change her mind. Just to feel, really you just wanna feel like she's not out of your life completely. That's really what it is. It's just like, I just wanna know that I can still have her crumbs if I want it, right? Because that's all it is you're gonna get for her at this point is crumbs. Well, here's what I want you to do in that moment. The wave will pass. I want you to remember this. The wave will pass. It doesn't feel like it, but it'll pass. In that moment, it feels like this is how you're gonna feel forever. Trust me, I've been there. But I promise you, if you can just ride it out, in 20 minutes, the intensity is gonna be half of what it was. In an hour, you'll be able to breathe again. In the morning, you'll be glad that you didn't send that stupid text, because you know what? I've sent it. And I remember one morning waking up and looking at my phone and just being like wincing and cringing at the message I wrote the night before. And I don't want you to do that. So here's your emergency protocol for those dark moments. Step one is put your phone in another room. Physically remove the option, not because you're weak, although you might feel it, right? But because you're smart enough to know that you're not thinking clearly right now. Step two is set a timer for 20 minutes. Tell yourself, I just need to get through these 20 minutes. That's it, not forever, just 20 minutes. Step three, do something physical. Maybe it's the push-ups like we talked about. Maybe it's walking around the block. Maybe it's taking a cold shower. Get out of your head and get into your body. The emotion is trapped energy. Move your body and move that energy around. Step four is remind yourself who you're becoming, because that's what this is all about. It's all about, it's like when you're training for whatever, you're training for the Olympics, you're training to run a marathon, you're training for whatever. It's gonna suck at first. It's building strength, and you gotta remember that. You gotta say it out loud if you have to. This is making me stronger. I'm becoming the kind of man who does not break. And when that 20 minutes is up, I promise you that the urge is gonna be weaker. And every time that you ride out that wave without breaking, You build evidence that you're stronger than you thought you were. That's how you become anti-fragile, one wave at a time. So the man you're becoming, I want you to paint a picture for you, right? Because you need to see where this is going. Right now, you're in the trenches, but there's a version of you on the other side of this, and I want you to meet him. Picture yourself 3 months from now, you've done the work. You've improved your social skills. You've practiced your flirting. You've reconnected with your purpose in life. You've talked to other women and remembered that you have options. If you're inside the Untamed Man community, maybe you're in there giving other guys this sort of advice, right? Because you're not the only one going through this. Trust me, if a lot of guys are going through the same exact thing you are, and being a part of a community allows you to share your experiences. And it also, one of the things I think is the most important thing about our Untamed Man community is that when you're in there, a funny thing happens, right? You see a guy posting something and you read it and you see his mindset or his mistakes and you realize, oh, that's what I look like. That's what I sound like. Oh man, right? Because you start picking up. And that's one of the reasons I think so many guys inside our community wind up making progress so fast, because they witness what the other side of it looks like, meaning they see themselves in the posts of other guys, and it kind of snaps them out of a trance that they were in. And now when that happens, you get a text from her. Hey, I've been thinking about you. And here's what's different. And it's a little crazy. You don't panic. Your heart doesn't leap into your throat like it used to. You don't immediately start typing a response. You read it, you put your phone down, and you finish whatever you were doing, because you're not the same guy anymore. You're not desperate for her validation. You're not terrified of losing her. You've already proven to yourself that you can be okay without her. I know this because almost a year to the day where my world fell apart with Robin, I got a text from her at like 2 a.m, like, I miss you. Can we hang out soon? And I'll admit, it was nice getting the text. My ego liked it, I'm not gonna lie, but there was no emotion attached to it. And I met up with her out of curiosity. We had been friends, and I was like, oh, let me meet up with her. I met up with her, and there was just this feeling of like, oh, don't even want her anymore. And she told me this connection she feels and how she's missed me. And I went home and I had met somebody else at this point. I had just started, and I was like, this new relationship is so much better. I'm so happy that I didn't wind up with her, right? So now you respond from a place of power, not need. So in my situation, I made the decision that I was no longer interested. I had moved on. I had transformed myself, and in transforming myself, I didn't have this need to be with her anymore. Maybe you still decide you want to be with her. Well, guess what? At least now she can see you're a different person. The needy energy is not there anymore. The desperation is gone. You're just calm, right? You're centered, you're grounded. You've got an attitude where she can go, oh, he can take it or leave it. And that's what makes her now chase you. Or maybe she doesn't text. Maybe she's never comes back. And you know what? That's okay, because you're not the same guy anymore anyway. You've got a life now that's full. You've got options now with other women. You've got a sense of self-worth that no longer depends on whether one woman chooses you or not. And that's what this was always about. It was not about getting her back. It was getting yourself back, your masculinity back. Now, if this is the state you're in right now, I highly recommend reading my book, The Invisible Game. It was meant for you. Honestly, it was meant for you. If you read it, as thousands of guys have already done, you will immediately go, this book was meant for me. And it'll give you a complete roadmap for what to do with your time right now. And it's gonna take your mind off her. So the book's available on Amazon. I put a link to it in the description below. Inside the book, I break down the unspoken rules of attraction. And I'll be honest, as you read the book, you'll likely recognize the real reason she pulled away. Not the reason she gave you, not the reason you think, the real reason. You'll also discover how to stop chasing a woman's validation and get her chasing yours, how to develop unshakable emotional autonomy, the mindset shifts that make you naturally attractive, how to pass women's tests, and how to win the invisible game of attraction. So you become the kind of guy women never want to lose. There's a link again in the description below. Now, if you take nothing else from this video, remember this: you're not going through something, you're growing through something. This pain that you feel, it's not pointless. It's the pressure that's going to create someone new. Every time that you resist the urge to text her, every time that you ride out a wave of emotional panic without breaking, every time you choose to invest in yourself instead of obsessing over her, you're becoming the man that you always were supposed to be. The man who doesn't need anyone else to complete him. The man who has his own emotional center. The man that women chase because he doesn't chase them. You can do this. Trust me, I believe in you. I've been doing this 18 years. You're not the first guy to go through a heartbreak, and you're not going to be the last guy to go through a heartbreak. You'll get through it. Now, if you haven't read The Invisible Game yet, like I said, you can find it on Amazon in paperback, Kindle, hardcover, audiobook. The link is below. And if this video helped you, if it gave you even a little bit of hope, hit the like button, leave me a comment telling me where you're at right now. I read every single one of them. And subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next video. You're gonna get through this, and you're gonna be better for it.